Okay, so I don't know why, right? But this pay-per-view, we don't have early prelims. Maybe because the card's starting mad early because we're in that might be it. I'm not sure. But anyway, people, we start things off with the ladies, right? It's the strawweights doing their thing. We have Jacqueline Amorim v. Middleweight. And yeah, this is a good fight, right? And we haven't seen a Winway in a minute, right? She's 31, 5'3", 64-inch reach. She's got an overall record of 15-6, and she's coming off a win in her last fight, right? She's 2-1 in the UFC, which is crazy, but she's been around for ages, right? But it's just a lot of injuries and stuff have really scuppered things for her. I believe she trains at Sarah Longo sometimes, you know, when she's in the country. But yeah, we last saw her in September 2023, right? She beat Hannah Goldie by unanimous decision. Before that, she lost a decision to Amanda Lemos. But she won her debut against Yanan Wu in August 2019. So that's it. Like, 2019 was her debut. She then fought 2020 August, right? And then 2023. Now, I know there was a lot of restrictions in Japan with the lockdown and everything like that. But yeah, has not been able to get a lot going on, which is a real shame, you know? It's funny, in a way, did fight the one of the title challengers in Invicta, right? She went to a split decision over 5 rounds with Verna Jandaroba, right? So that was all the way back in March 2018. Yeah. Now, she does have jiu-jitsu, right? She's won via, she does like an arm bar, right? Does like an arm bar. So she's been able to rack up a lot of those, right? A lot of arm bars. Yeah, I mean, there was a rear naked choke, but it is mainly arm bars that she goes for. Not any knockout power, you know. I mean, she is tiny, right? But yeah, no, she does. She's very durable, right? Very durable. And she's fought top people, even though sometimes it's outside the UFC, right? She fought Alexa Grasso, Karolina Kovacevic, you know, all in Invicta. Yeah, you know, Vera Jandiroba in Invicta, you know what I mean? So she's been in there. It's just, you know what I mean? Her schedule. Now, Jacqueline Amorim, right? She's 30, 5'3", 68-inch reach. So she's got a 4-inch reach difference, which is, yeah, that's kind of big, right? That's kind of big. And it's not like they're the same height, right? They're both 5'3". She has got a 10. She's on a 4-fight win streak right now, right? Fighting out of American Top Team. So she went 4-0 in Invicta, and she's 4-1. Sorry, in LFA. She went 4-0 in LFA. And she's 4-1 in the UFC. Right, so, yeah, she lost her debut to Sam Hughes in April 2023. But since then, she's been putting it on the ladies, right? She beat Nasrat Ruiz, ground and pound, right? That was in August 2023. She then got a first round armbar of Corey McKenna, which got her a performance of the night, right? That was March 2024. In September 2020, got another first round armbar, this time on Vanessa Depopoulos. And then she got back in there, right? This year, April. She, it went a little bit longer, right? Second round, this time a rear naked choke on Polyana Viana. So, man, she is on a roll right now. You know what I mean? She's on a roll, really putting her shit together. And she does have, she does arm bars, arm triangles, rear nakeds. So she does have a variety of stoppages, knee bars, right? She has like one knockout all the way back in July 2021. But mainly it's subs, right? There is the ground and pound of Ruiz, but yeah, mainly it's subs. That's how she's winning the fight. And I think with this, it kind of comes down to activity, right? Because that's your comfortability in the octagon. So, as I say, Inoue is tough. She's good. But it's just getting those rounds, right? And there's, you can train, but it's not the same. It's just not the same. So people, am taking Jacqueline Amorim, for the win. And it wouldn't be a surprise if she, maybe locked up her sub, but in a way, she is proficient on the ground. So, it might be one of those ones that becomes just a standing fight, right? So next up, we have got, it was meant to be the flyweights, right? Meant to be the flyweights. But someone, got caught raiding the fridge. Didn't make weight, right? So this is now a catchweight fight at 129 pounds. We have Azat Maksum against Mitch Raposo. And it wasn't Raposo that missed weight, people, right? It was Maksum. So yes, Mitch Raposo, he is 27, 5'5", 64.5-inch reach. He's on an 9-3 overall record. Yeah, unfortunately, he's 2-0 in the UFC, right? He lost on the Contender Series. So, but I think he took a short notice fight, right? But also, he's just been like on the regionals, you know what I mean? On the regionals, trying to do his thing and all of that jazz. He was on the Ultimate Fighter too. He did go on the Ultimate Fighter. So went on the Ultimate Fighter, lost. He then got on to the Contender Series against Jake Hadley. But Jake Hadley missed weight for that fight, right? So yeah, he went back to the regionals and he put together 4 wins, 4 stoppages, right? Won a belt in what is this, Cage Titans FC, right? Won their vacant flyweight belt. And that got him the call up. So he fought Andre Lima in June 2024. Lost a split. Lima missed weight. He then lost a split to Sumajaji in April this year. Sumajaji missed weight. Poor old Mitch. Poor old Mitch, right? It's not going well. And he does need a win. He really does need a win, right? Because a third loss could get him cut. But I do wonder if they do look at the fact that all his opponents have missed weight, right? And give him a little bit of leeway. I guess it probably depends on how, if, you know what I mean, if he did lose, how that was, right? If he got murked in the first seconds, right, like jazz hands, probably not. But if it's a tough decision, yeah, give him another fight, you know what I mean? Now, he does like subs, right? He's had arm triangles, rear nakeds, you know what I mean? And especially of late, right? He's pulled off some rear naked chokes. And, yeah, he's gone to decision. I don't think we've had any... so we haven't had any knockouts. And then I look, and in 2023, he did a very fast one in the first round. And then in January 2024, right, that was a fourth round stoppage. But that's kind of, yeah, it's mainly submissions that is Raposo's thing. And in there against Quazag, Asma, let's do that shit again, right? Quazar, Azat, Maksum. Yes. Right? He's 30, 5'7", 70-inch reach, right? Yeah. He does have the huge reach advantage, right, over Raposo. So he's got a 5.5-inch reach advantage, which is pretty big. Overall record of 15-2. He is also on a losing streak, right? He's lost his last two. He's 1-2 in the UFC. So, like Raposo, he does need a win, right? Does need a win, and his opponents didn't miss weight, right? So that is the thing with him. As I said, he won his debut, right? That was in July 2023, beat Tyson Nam. It was a split decision, but then he lost to Charles Johnson. It was a fight of the night, right? That was February 2024. And then in June this year, he lost another decision to Tigrar Ulanbekov. So, yeah. Now, outside, right, he's had a few chokes, a few knockouts, right? Arm triangle, rear naked, Bravo choke, you know? But yeah, this is interesting, right? Because Raposo is good on the ground. Yeah, this is a tough one. Because especially because Maksum missed weight. That's where this gets a bit, because I think I would like to pick Raposo, you know what I mean? With the weight thing, it makes it a little bit more tricky. But maybe Maksum gasses, right? I think it all depends on that approach. Because some people aren't putting themselves through a tough cut. You know what I mean? They're just going to take that penalty and come in mad fresh. But, you know what? I think Mitch is going to be super pissed, right? I mean, he's going to be super pissed and mad determined. So I'm going to put my hat behind Mitch Raposo for the win. So we then have the first of our, I think, what we got four heavyweight fights, right, on the card, which makes sense because the heavyweights are in the main event. Yeah, I mean, the division is odd, right? It is odd. So any of these guys, if they pulled off something super spectacular, they could get their names in the hat, you know what I mean? But yeah, this time in our first outing, we have Hamdy Abdelwahab against Chris Barrett. Right? So, the Hammer, Hamdy Abdelwahab. Oh, I think I've Abdelwahab. Yeah, let's go with that. Right, he's 32, 6'2", 73-inch reach. Overall record is 4-1 and 1 no contest, right? Not a lot of fights. Not a lot of fights. He's coming in off of a loss, right? Which makes him 1-1 and 1 no contest in the UFC, right? So, most of these fights have been in the UFC, which is crazy. You know what I mean? It's a crazy thing. I think he does come from bare knuckle. He has had a good few, he's had a few amateur fights, right? So, not coming in, you know what I mean, just with nothing, right? He did test the waters in the amateurs. So there is that. So yeah, like, it's been a bit of an odd one, really, because one of his opponents outside the octagon, right, he won because of a leg injury. Does have, a couple of knockouts, right? Which then led to the UFC call-up against Dontel Mays in July 2022. That got, I don't know who won, it got made a no contest though. Right? And he then beat Jamal Pogues, right? That was February this year. Went a split decision, but he also then lost to Muhammad Usman in June 2025, which it wasn't the best of fights, right? That was not one of the best of fights, I will say. But he did get a win. Right now, he's going up against Beast Boy, Chris Barnett, who's 39, 5'9", 75-inch reach. Right, overall record 23-9. Right, woo! He's coming off a loss in his last fight. In the UFC, he's 2-3. Right, we last saw him against Kennedy Nzechukwu. That was October 2024. He got stopped in the first round. There's been, just a load of cancelled fights due to injuries and the such. So before that, it was a September 2022 win over Jake Collier. He did miss weight, though. He lost to Martin Buday in April 2022. It was a technical decision. I think he is probably most remembered for his knockout of Jean Volonté, right? I think that was in New York. I think that was in Madison Square, right? In November 2021, which was just insanity, right? Insanity. Whew. Such a great kick, man. Such a great kick. He lost his debut to Ben Rothwell, got caught in a guillotine. So it has been a bit of a mixed bag for Barnett. Yeah, I think the thing is, you know what I mean? Again, it's a frequency thing. You know? It is a frequency thing. Like, the Hammer hasn't had many fights, right? So on that front, Barnett has got the advantage. You know what I mean? Definitely has. But he's 6'2", 73-inch reach, you know? And, as I say, Barnett's 5'9". But, rotted. You know what? Barnett's got the longer reach. 2-inch reach advantage, which is surprising. Right? So that's definitely a good thing for Chris. Right? That's a good thing for Chris. So, I think, right? I think I am going to take Barnett, right? Because I think on paper, the Hammer is a bigger person, right? He's got the size, he's got the youth. But there's something about being a wily vet. Something about being a wily vet. And as he doesn't have a reach disadvantage, which really would have hampered things, I think Barnett can get that win. And who doesn't want to see him, you know what I mean, do that and do a funky dance in the octagon afterwards. So, hey, we go to another catchweight. Right? Another catchweight fight. Boy, sometimes, man, you wonder what fighters are doing. You know what I mean? Big opportunities. You're on a pay-per-view. You make weight. Oh, dear, oh, dear. So this is 147. As I say, it was meant to be a featherweight. But, again, someone missed weight, and it wasn't Nathaniel Wood, right? We have Nathaniel Wood against Jose Delgado. So, yeah, it's a decent fight. Right? Decent fight. The prospect, Nathaniel Wood, he's 32, 5'6", 69-inch reach. Got an overall record of 21-6. He's on a 2-fight win streak right now. He has a 9-3 record in the UFC, which is decent, right? He beat Morgan Charrier last time out, right? That was March this year. I think that was in England. I think that was in London when they were over. So, yeah, before that, he beat Daniel Pineda, July 2024. That was another decision. He did lose to Mohamed Naimov, right, in October 2023. That was his last loss. But he's been in there with tough people, right? Andre Fili, Charles Johnson, Charles Rosa, right? Morgan Cherry. Like, these are all very tough oppositions. You know, he was a Cage Warrior champion. So, yeah. He made his UFC debut against Johnny Eduardo in June 2018. Got a Darce choke. Right? So, yeah. Which ain't bad, right? Ain't bad at all. But he does mainly go a decision. Right? That is the, you know, what he's been doing in these last, 4 or 5 fights. So as I say, he's going up against Jose Delgado, who is 27, 5'11", 73-inch reach. He's got an overall record of 10-1, and he's on a 7-fight win streak. Fighting out of the MMA lab, right? Came by the Contender Series. He's 2-0 in the UFC. Right, made his debut. Well, he won his contract in August 2024. Made his debut February 2025. He beat Connor Matthews first round knockout. And then he stopped Haider Emil in the first round in June. Oh, man, like, I picked Haider in that fight, right? And Delgado landed a perfect hand as Emil was coming in, which makes it worse, right? Just makes it worse. So Delgado is pretty lethal, right? Is pretty lethal. You know, he's only went to the second round on the Contender Series, right? The last four, you know, the fight before that and the two after, all first round stoppages. And he can go to, you know, he went to the third round with Alberto Romo and knocked him out at the start of that one. Right? Does have some submissions, right? Rear naked, a DAS, you know? Does have a few different things like that. He does like to knock people out, though. Which, you know, I get it, right? If you can, why not? So, yeah, this is... It's a good fight, right? The weight miss is irritating because this is a really good friggin'... It's tough, right? It's a tough one to call. Boy. I think... people. I mean, the streak, the knockout power, because Nathaniel Wood is very good. He does get hit, right? So if you're going up against someone with this kind of knockout power, yeah, it's hard to go against Delgado. So yeah, I'm going to take Delgado for the win, right? So we are back with the heavyweights. This time it is Valter Walker against Louie Sutherland. And, right, the Vanilla Gorilla, Louie Sutherland, he's 31, 6'3", 76-inch reach, 10-3 overall. He's on a 4-fight win streak. You know what I mean? Like, he was, meant to fight in September, right? The end of last month. But Justin Taffer pulled out. So this will be his debut, right? This will be his debut. Now, his last fight in June this year, he knocked out Luke Newland in the first round. So he does have that knockout power. All right? Though he's not knocking everyone out. Right, it's not that kind of thing. He's going to the distance. He's going to a decision a lot. Right, he won his first 4 fights by knockout. Right, won his first 4 by knockout. Before his first loss. So he does have that power. But it's the experience thing, right? Because he is stepping in there with Valter Walker, who is younger, right? He's 27, 6'6", 78.5-inch reach. So, he's got a 2.5-inch reach difference, and he's 3 foot taller. No, he's not 3 foot. He's 3 inches, right? Yeah. The 3 foot would be crazy. Anyway, the Clean Monster, which is, they both got terrible nicknames, right? But Walker is 14-1 overall. He's on a 3-fight win streak. He's 3-1 in the UFC. So he lost his debut. Right, lost his debut to Lucas Brasky. That went to a decision. But then it wasn't a great fight, right? But he put it all together. He's put it all together in a big way, right? Because he beat Junior Taffer, right? Dontel Mays and Kennedy Nzechukwu, all in the first round, and all with heel hooks, which is crazy. I feel he will probably be breaking a record if he wins this fight with a heel hook. If he was to do that, that would be crazy, right? That would be insanity, people. Oh, boy, right? And he has stopped people with the hands, but he does like jiu-jitsu. That's his thing. He does love a bit of jiu-jitsu. So he likes to lock people up and put them through painful chiropractic. Right, so it's interesting, man. This is an interesting one. You know what? I would like to see Walker get another heel hook. So I'm taking Valter Walker for the win. So we drop all the way down to the lightweight. We have Ľudovít Klein against Mateusz Rębecki. So Mr. Highlight, Ľudovít Klein. He is 30, 5'7", 72.5-inch reach. Right, he's got an overall record of 23-5-1. He's coming off a loss in his last fight. Right, he's 7-3 and a draw in the UFC. So we last saw him go against Mateusz Gamrot. Right, that was May this year. Lost the decision. Right, but he before that he beat Roosevelt Roberts September 2024. Tago Maes in June 2024. Both of those were decisions. He stopped AJ Cunningham with a body kick in the first round, right? March 2024. Got a win over Ignacio Budamondes, right? Which definitely has aged very well, right? That was August 2023. He drew with Jai Herbert, right? He made his debut in September 2020, right? He stopped Shane Young in the first round. He did miss weight. Now, that was the whole COVID era. So we give a slight leeway, right? Because of everything and, all the craziness, but it's not great, right? Still not great. Lost his next two, but then, he went on a winning streak until Gamrot scuppered that, right? He's fighting another Mateusz, right? This time it is Mateusz Rębecki. I think his nickname's Rębecki, which bit rubbish, to be honest, right? He's 33, 5'7", 66-inch reach. Overall record of 20-3. He is also coming off a loss in his last outing. He's 4-2 in the UFC. came via the Contender Series. Right, he won his contract in August 2022. Right, he got Rodrigo Laido in a rear naked in that first round. Right, so made his debut in January 2023, beat Nick Fior via decision. He then knocked out Lokai Razharov in the second round. That was in June 2023. He beat Roosevelt Roberts with an armbar. Yeah, I think he doesn't have a load of subs, right? Doesn't have a load of subs, but he does have that armbar and a rear naked. He's got a few stoppages, all right, but a lot of the fights are decisions, you know. Mike Beck Orbai, right? He got a split decision over him. It was a fight of the night, though, right? That was October 2024. And last time out, he lost to Chris Duncan. That was in August. Again, it was a fight of the night, though. So he can scrap, right? Rębecki can scrap. It's an interesting fight. They are both very tough. I think, though, I'm going with the highlight, right? Going with the highlight. I think, yeah, I mean, Klein's got very good kicks, right? He's got very, very good kicks. And I think that can really slow down Rębecki. Can slow him down, especially a good front kick, right? Good old front kick can really be useful in a fight like this. I think maybe Klein might have the better jiu-jitsu as well. We will see. We will see. So next, we're up to the middleweights. We have Ikram Aliskerov against Jun-yong Park. Right, so the Iron Turtle, Jun-yong Park, is 34, 5'10", 73-inch reach. He's currently on a 2-fight win streak with a 19-6 overall record from Korean top team. Yep, he's 9-3 in the UFC. Right, last time out, we saw him beat Ismail Nuradiv. That was in June this year. In October 2024, he got a split decision over Brad Tavares. Right, he did lose a split to Andre Muniz in December 2023. Right. When did it happen? Right, he made his debut in August 2019. He lost to Anthony Hernandez, but Fluffy is tough. You know what I mean? He then beat Marc-Andre Barriou, Jean Phillips, and Tafron Nokwani before succumbing to Robocop. But I mean, it's Robocop, right? The Eric Anders, Ugly Joe Holmes, Dennis Tullum, Albert Duraev. Yeah, he's got some decent wins, right? Does like a rear naked choke. He got 3 of them back to back, right? Holmes, Tulayan, and Duraev. So, yeah, that's impressive, right? I mean, throughout his career, it's mainly rear nakeds. There's an Anaconda back in 2017, but he prefers a rear naked choke, right? So, and he does have a good squeeze. Now, he's fighting Ikram Aliskerov, who is 32, 6 foot, 76-inch reach. Right, so, yeah, he's taller and has a 3-inch advantage. He's got an overall record of 16-2, coming off a win in his last fight. He's 3-1 in the UFC, and he came via the Contender Series. He won that contract in September 2022. Got a Kimura over Mauro Souza in the first round. Made his debut May 2023, knocked out Phil Hawes in the first. He then did the same to Wally Alvarez before coming up against Robert Whittaker, where it was a little vice versa, right? Whittaker stopped him in the first, but he came back to knock out Andre Muniz first round, April this year. So, boy, he does like to crack. I mean, the turtle does have a decent chin, right? But, knockout power is something, right? He likes a Kimura, has a few of those in his career, which definitely could be useful from a takedown, right? You can use it to sweep, or you can use it to break someone's arm. Right? Pick your poison, right? I mean, it's an interesting fight. Because of the turtle's durability. But I still think I'm going with Aliskerov, right? I do like the turtle. I really do like the turtle, but yeah, gonna take Aliskerov. Right, so we end the prelims with the lightweights. We have Nasrat Haqparast against Quillan Salkilld. Right, so Quillan Salkilld is 25, 6 foot, 75-inch reach. Overall record of 9-1. He's on a 9-fight win streak. Came via the Contender Series, and he's 2-0 in the UFC, right? So he won that contract September 2022. Sorry, September 2024. 2022, what the fuck? Right? He got a decision over Jun-yong. Right? He made his debut February this year, knocked out Anshul Jubli in the first round. He then went to a decision with Yanal Ajmaz, right? That was in June. So, yes. He does have subs, right? He does like a rear naked. He's got that knockout power, right? Does have that knockout power. Nasrat Haqparast, though, right? He's 30, 5'10", 72-inch reach, right? So, does have a 3-inch deficit, right? He's got an 18-5 record on a 5-fight win streak, right? And I forgot he fights out of TriStar. Right. Well, I think he recently moved there, to be honest, because him and his brother were in Vegas for a while. So he's 10-4 in the UFC. Right. And when did he? Okay, he made his debut October 2017. He lost to Marcin Held. All right, but then he put together a little 3-fight streak, beat Mark Ducazi, Talbot Goyet, and Joaquim Silva. Right, got stopped by Drew Dober, but as we saw at the weekend, Dober is a beast, right? He then got wins over Alex Muniz, Rafa Garcia. Did lose to Dan Hooker and King Green, but again, two wily, tough as nails veterans. But since then, right, he's just been winning. Beat John Medeski, Landon Quinones, Jamie Malarkey, Jared Gordon, and Esteban Ribovic. All really good wins. And the Malarkey got in performance of the night, and the Rębecki fight was a fight of the night. So yeah, this is a good one, right? This is a really good fight. It's a tough one because Haqparast is tough, right? We've seen him in some wars, and he's got that experience, right? He's got that veteran experience. I mean, Salkilld, right, is on that 9-fight win streak. So he's super confident. But this will be the toughest person he's fought. Yeah? Boom. I'm taking Haqparast for the win, right? As I say, he's tough. He's been in wars, right? He's got good hands. He'll take you down. Yeah, I think he will, Salkilld, he's going to be confident, right? He's going to be trying to knock Haqparast out. And I think Haqparast can time that takedown, get him down, just wear on him. Drain that energy and get that win. So, yeah, I'm taking Nasrat Haqparast for the win. And that should be a blazer, right? That should be a blazing fight to take us to the main card.